So this is the current EQ Bank app, and this is what my redesign looks like. I'm going to also be walking you through my thought process, why I designed this, some certain features, the way I designed it, and why I actually introduced some new features into this new design. If you look at the old design, the current design, I'm not going to say the old design because they didn't contract me to actually do this. I just decided to do this on my own to use it to teach you guys the concept of prototyping. So we're going to prototype how to add money to this card, and we are also going to prototype what it looks like when you want to see the card details of this card. So when you want to add money and when you want to flip this card to see what happened, the details on this card. So when you click on it, it flips around, and we're also going to trigger the vertical and the horizontal movement, and I'm also going to walk you guys through my thought process where I actually get inspiration before redesigning this, because most times I always look at real apps before initiating any redesign, so I can validate some of my thought process with some real life examples. And if you want to actually get the tools that I use for that, I would introduce you to Mobin. Mobin is one of the tools that I actually use to, instead of downloading multiple apps, I would just go to Mobin and search for EQ Bank competitors. But I'm not just going to go and search for EQ Bank's competitors, because EQ Bank is a banking app. So I'm just going to say have Web Simple, which is one of their competitors. So we're going to look Web Simple up and see how their design looks like. It actually looks very clean, and this is one of the, I think it's one of the biggest fintech app in Canada here. And we are going to also look at Monzo. Monzo is a fintech app that is currently in UK. So there's something that these guys actually have in common, which is simplicity, and that's one thing I always like about some of these big brands. And one thing with EQ Bank is that the design feels so outdated. And before I actually go into redesigning the entire experience, I use Mobin to compare some designs of fintech apps. I also checked Revolut. Revolut is another big player in UK and the US. Revolut was once in Canada, but I didn't know, for some obvious reasons they actually left, and I'm hoping they come back. And you can see some what the Revolut app looks like. So when we go to flows, you will see what the flow looks like. You can see that that's just one amazing thing with Mobin. To be honest, I love Mobin a lot, and I use it every day to determine which flow comes next. So I don't start second guessing on which app or which flow to designers or which screen to designers. I'll just go to Mobin and take some real first-hand production ready insight on how to design the next screen. So if you're designing an e-commerce, you go to Mobin and search for e-commerce related apps. You will see the screenshots. If you're designing a banking app, you go to Mobin and search for banking apps that you can get inspirations from. If you're doing anything that has to do with AI, and they also have I think they also have the webs app screenshots, not just mobile screenshots. So you'll be able to see sites. So you can see apps, you can see also sites. So here are some of the sites that you can actually take inspirations from. This Koto, I've never heard about it, but this is what their screenshot looks like. And there's also animation. There's also some animations that you can see, and when I want to prototype, I check the animations to get insight on how some micro interactions actually work. And now we're going to head back to our design, and I'm going to show you how I will prototype this in real time. So here we've done the design, and I'm going to walk you guys through on what I actually did here. Everything here is an auto layout, and my layers, the naming of my layers, everything was intentional. So I'm going to be guiding you on what I did so you understand the core principles of prototyping. If you want to learn prototyping, please watch this video to the end. Don't skip it, just watch this video to the end. And if you're new to my channel, please do me a favor to subscribe to my channel. This actually helps me to make some videos like this to help you be sound and build your prototyping skills. So here you can see that we changed the card to this. So we have the EQ everyday spending. Now we've introduced the hide balance, which this the current design doesn't have, and the earnings 2.5%. When you see this 2.5% is when you click this card. So I actually moved it to the front, so it can actually kind of motivate users to always want to use the card. I wanted to use EQ Bank, but when I saw the design, I switched to New Financial. And that's why you see me leaving my $10 here, but I will still definitely go back and withdraw it. So load card has been changed to add money, and EQ bank that we have here is now on the card. We don't have the balance showing on the top. That might actually create some form of confusion because we have $10.63 here and we have $0.00 UXD, which we don't know which account is which. At the end of the day, it creates some kind of confusion. And here we are seeing the $10, and now here we are seeing $0.63. It happens that this amount here is supposed to be the total value on this card, on this app. So what I have on this app is just $10. So here you can see that I've separated that to monthly savings, which is the USD account, to $400, and the EQ savings, which is the CAD account, to $8,870.50. So when you click here, you can top up the card, you can do everything. Then the same thing with the USD account. Here, once you click here, you can actually edit the names and change it to something that you can actually remember. This arrow, I moved to this place. This arrow doesn't have any business staying here, to be honest. It's kind of confusing. And this add money that is just here is something else. I don't know the reason why this is here. So I've just moved everything. So once you click here, you will now see where you add money, move money between accounts, or transfer money through Interact or any wire transfer. So here, if you click add accounts, you can now see all the accounts that comes with EQ Bank, such as they have the tax-free savings account and the rest. So that is what you're going to see here. Then you will open anyone you want. Then the perks is something that I actually introduced newly. So perks is something that comes with once you're spending with your card. EQ Bank currently have it, but they didn't display it very well. So most of my redesigns were focused more on clarity than adding features. So it's not like a feature problem, it's just the clarity problem. So we brought out some of the things that we feel like is much more important to users in front of the home screen, because this is just the landing screen. And once you get this screen wrong, the potential of losing a lot of users is very, very high. I also introduced the notification icon where you get all the notifications updates about this app. You will see it under the notification section. This leads to your profile, which is very, very wrong. This is supposed to be menu. So here is what I've actually changed it into. So once you click this, it goes to your profile. Then here is where another feature that I actually also introduced, which is always keep balance above $50. So here you get to understand the difference between UX and UI, because UX played a very huge role here. So what this means is that once the balance on this card is below $50, it should top up from this account or whichever account that you've selected. So what it means is that it will just pick that amount, maybe a set amount that you have, and add it to the card. So probably you're in a store, you didn't know that your card is low, it's automatically tops up for you, and you just go and continue your shopping, and you don't get low on funds. That's it. So here you can see the interest and exchange rate. This doesn't exist. This doesn't exist, and I've also added it because EQ Bank also, I think they don't really allow you to open more accounts. They allow you to open more accounts, but it's still hidden under this icon. So I brought it here, making it much more clearer. At the end of this, maybe somewhere around this video, I'm going to show you how EQ Bank actually works, so you will see where this actually leads to. But going forward, we will see the quick send, which shows you the people that you've sent money to through Interact and their names. So when you click see all, it takes you to where you will see everything in details. You can actually click the plus line to add a user that you send money to without even leaving this page. So it's quite easy and straightforward, but this is something that this guy doesn't have yet. So you have to click transfer, and this gets you to the screen, which is horrible. Now the next thing that I'm going to show you is how I actually designed this once I just finished working YouTube, because you need to understand what I did here before I go to the prototyping. Then here is the history that I just added. They don't have the history. You have to click the account to get to the history. Now here you have the exchange. You can see what I did here in the exchange section. So I'm just going to open up everything so we walk through it once and for all. So I'm just going to select this and get this here. So this would help you to learn how to solve some UX problems. And when you see this get 2.5% interest with direct deposit, doesn't actually lead to anything. So this is what I actually did here. We're going to focus more on the exchange rate because you can actually convert USD to CAD or CAD to UXD. And if there's a fee, you're going to see it outrightly. If there's no fee, you're going to see that it's $0. And here we have the exchange one card to is equals to 0.7134 USD. And how I actually interpreted that or redesigned it is you get to see the trend live and how the money has been moving. I'm just going to push this here. The way I created this was I used this to create it. So you can use this to create trend like this. So that's how I actually created this. So I can just go back and have this here. Then if you want to have this soft dots here, you can just change it to this. So it has this. So that is how that was created. If you want to make it look smooth, you just come here and add maybe 30 and it looks like this. But there's a plugin that actually gives you this thread. So you see the level exchange, you see how far the exchange rate has been going and everything. Not too much of movement, but just like movement is happening. So from 1st of November to today, we have one card to 0.7134 USD, today's rate. So this is how we've designed it. So now if you want to convert $100 to $100, it will give you 84 USD. So if you want to convert 100 CAD, it gives you this. So you can just convert without going to any conversion page or anything. So you do everything right here in front without moving out of this page. So that's just one of the UX improvement that I did. So this changed to this. So another thing I actually did is changing this static stuff here to this. So assuming what this means is that if you're earning $2,000, if you want to change this app to maybe this bank app to be the monthly deposits, you can actually get an interest when you move your direct deposit to here. So if your company is paying you through the EQ Bank app, at end of the month you get 2.75%. That is what it means. So what I did here was just to allow users to drag this to whatever they earn every month, so they will see real life of what interest they will earn. If this drops, they'll get an email that their interest rate is lowering, just like the way Mozos actually notifies their users that, oh, your interest rate is actually going to lower this period or it's going to increase this period. So here we actually do that. Then for this, I've not actually seen any app that actually currently do this. So you can drag this left and right, which is what we're going to prototype, and these figures will actually increase as you're dragging. It can actually increase to maybe $50 or maybe $25, assuming that is what you earn every month. So this is in CAD. Then what you do is to set direct. Once you click set direct deposit, it shows you where you collect your banking details that you can set to your employer. Now, if it's $2,000, you are going to get $55 every month. This will actually push you to want to use EQ Bank to be receiving your salary every month. That's the essence of this design, rather than just having these static direct deposits. So the next thing is introduction of grow your savings, your savings safely if you have this amount. So once you input how much you want to save, it will give you the interest that you will get at the end of the month. So this is the interest that you get if you have $2,000. That's the same thing we did for this GIC. So this GIC investment is just what we changed to this. So we can actually rename change the name, because GIC actually allows you to lock a certain amount. It was with, I think, only USD or CAD, I don't know. But I think when I made my research, it works with either of CAD or USD. And once you do that, once you put the amount you want to save, it gives you the interest you earn. Very, very important, because we users always want to see how much we will earn, and this will encourage us to use the app. To be honest, if these guys decides to go with this current design, it will triple the amount of users in less than 6 months. Currently, I think they're about 735 or just little above 700k users for EQ Bank, and that's way below what Web Simple Neo Financials currently have. Neo Financial is about 1 million users, or they're about more than that. So we have the products, which actually shows here, explore all products, where you can see your first home savings account, you can see your EQ Bank card, all the product that EQ Bank have is here. But one thing with this section is that the reason why I actually put it here is most times people don't scroll to the end of their bank app. The statistics actually shows that I think it's about 18% of people that just come in and scroll to the end. When we come to our bank app, we just want to see how much we have at our balance and the transfer or the transaction we want to make. That's just what we're interested in, or just to see the recent transaction that actually happened. Maybe you returned an Amazon stuff and you want to see if they refunded you. You want to check your history. That is why I actually placed your history in front of you, because these are just the most important thing, or you want to make transfers. So from here to here is the most important part of this. But from here down to this, the tendency of users actually scrolling to this very bottom is just about 20% of them or 30% of them that will actually be doing that. I can't even remember the last time I scrolled down to my Monzo account all the way down to see all the products they have there or all the features they have there. So that is what I did. So the next thing I actually did here was just to change this dashboard to home. There's no reason why this should be named dashboard. And we have the insight. The insight actually shows you your spendings for each month, how you've spending, track your the where you've been spending more on. That is what you see on the inside. The payments now takes you to the payment page, the bills, and the help section. These deposits, we've moved this because when you have a check, as mean your landlord, your tenant actually gives you a check, you want to deposit it to your app, you just have to come here and scan it and the money goes to your app. Then this is what I did. I had to move that to deposit money here. So when you click deposit a check, so when you click on deposit a check, it's so everything is now under payments. So if you want to do anything that has to payment, you will see it on payment. So we don't have the transfer different and we have the deposit check different. So I merged everything into payment. So we've gotten rid of this transfer here. Bill still stays, deposits still goes, and all of this is what I'm breaking down to here. So send interact transfer, which is the first one, is here. I actually added a explainer here to actually explain to first time immigrants like me that doesn't know what interact means, because back in the UK and back in my home country, Nigeria, what we understand is just give me account number, I will send it. So we don't actually understand what is interact. So it's just going to explain this better to some of the immigrants. And this actually gets to be your first target customers, because once people are entering the country, if you want to target them, you just have to design to suit them also. So transfer between accounts, that is what we have here. Transfer between accounts. Interact it activity becomes our transaction history that I just introduced you guys to. Request money, which is something that they don't have currently. I just feel like it's a nice to have feature. Then send money internationally, which is what we have here. Transfer to EQ connection is what we have. Transfer to EQ connection. Then link external account, and then deposits money. So I actually broke it here to actually reduce the cognitive load that is on this page, because there's a tendency for you to come in and click here when you actually meant to click this. So that is why I separated it this way. So we just have 1, 2, 3. It's easier to scan these 5 lines, these 5 rows, then you come and scan this way. So instead of just loading it this way, I just had to break things down here. So actually guide your sight or your eyes on how you interact with the app, and it's easier for you to master than what we have here. Now I'm done with my explanation. We are going to do the prototyping. So I'm going to set this up and take this all the way to this place. So we're going to have 956. I'm going to move this to this place, and we can just move this to this place. So the next thing I'm going to do is there's something I want you to understand about prototyping. They move in and move out, slide in and slide out. So I'm going to explain it very well. The reason why I'm using this to explain is for you to understand how this thing works. If you can understand this concept, you have already conquered prototyping. So we're going to go to prototype. I'm going to just remove all of this because I've prototyped it before. Remove these and say none. And any prototype that is linked to this, we are going to also remove it. Select this, and select this and this. Prototyping is one tool that you're going to use to sell yourself. Trust me, if you learn how to prototype, it will be very much more easier for you to land a gig faster, because people always love to see what the real app looks like. And showing a still design on LinkedIn or Instagram is not really going to get you that gig. But when you animate it and everything looks fun to watch, your chances of getting that gig or that deal or that job is very, very high. If you're new to my channel, please do me a favor, just subscribe to my channel. It actually helps me more than you think. This will actually encourage me to make more videos like this and always teach you what you need to understand or what you need to know about Figma prototyping. And to go forward, we are going to select this. If we want this to scroll up, we'll make sure that everything on our design here is under this frame, right? So what I'm going to do is, we have two frames here. This one, because we want the header to be fixed, and we want this one to also stay fixed. So if you want this to move, only these places where we want to move. We don't want any other thing in this screen to move, just this place. So I'm going to head to prototype and make sure that this is set to vertical, because vertical movement, and scroll with parent. So that is just what we're going to do here. Then we'll make sure that the clip content is set. So if we preview this, oh, I don't know why this thing actually went off the screen. So if I present this, let's see if what we did actually happened. So this is just the first thing that we're going to do. So when you scroll up, you can see that the way the app is scrolling. So the reason why you are seeing this little effect that is actually happening here is because we set this menu to blur. So how you are going to do that is to duplicate this. So once you duplicate this, I'm going to set, assuming we have this as white and we have this full. So if you want that to be blur, you can just reduce this to at least 80%. And once you've done that, the next thing you're going to do, let me just close this, is to open the effects and come here and say set background blur. Then change this to 20. That would make this look blur. So while you're scrolling, the users can actually see the effect of what is happening in the background. That was how I actually created that. So that is number one. We have done the scrolling. We can actually do it on the top, but we're just going to leave it only on the footer menu. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is to show you what happens when you click the add money. So when you click the add money, we'll take this and link it to this one and say on tap. So what it means is that once we tap this, what action do we want it to trigger? Then here we say navigate to home, then not instant. Instant means that once I click it, it will instantly appear. The cases where we use instant is if we are moving from this page to this page, or from this page to this page, or from this page to this page to this page, whichever one. But if you're moving from here to something that will lead you to go back, you need to use move in. So I'm going to change this to move in. We have move in, we have move out, we have slide in, we have slide out, we have we also have push. So I'm going to show you what all of these things mean. So let's say we have the move in, which means we want it to come from this side. That is why we clicked here. I'm going to also show you what animate matching layers mean. So we're going to set the speed to 300, leave it at 300. But if you want a better movement, you set this to slow and change this to 300. Don't use ease out if you want a slow, if you want a smooth movement. So once we have done that, we come to this place, and when we click this, you see that it comes in. Then we click this, it should go out, or when we drag this, it should go out. Now let's go and prototype it so you understand how prototyping works. We're going to select this and link it back to this screen and say on tap, not instant, please. Now it's move out. Remember that the first time we did the arrow, we set it to this part. So now we're going to do move out. So it's just more like back to sender. So here is move out from this side. So we're going to also set that to slow and change the speed to 300. So do the same thing here. If we select the full frame and move this, link it to this place, now it's not going to be move, it's not going to be tap, it's going to be on drag. So if we're dragging it, if we're just, when you open WhatsApp, you tap somebody's message, then you swipe it to come off the chart. That is what we mean by drag. So that is what we're going to say: move out, then arrow facing from the part that we want it to move out from. So you just close a door. The door comes in just the way you slide in a door. Then if you want to open it again, you just slide it out. That is the principle that Figma is just trying to apply here. So we're going to say move out from the right, then we'll set this to slow and change this to 300. Then if we go out here, we're going to drag this. You can see it's happening and it goes out. See the smooth movement. Then if we click here, it comes in. Now let's go and try ease in and ease out. So you can see the difference between slow and ease. So if we change this, assuming we change this to ease out, which is the default that it gives you, look at what happens. It's just going to be little thing, but all of those little things actually adds to how the outcome of your design at the end of the day. So just move this thing out. You can see it out now. Then click here. This one moves smooth, but when you click out, there's a way the thing just moves out of the screen. That is why I don't like using ease out. So we're going to say change it back to slow, and we're going to use 300. So that being said, time to move forward. So we're going to say when we click. Now, another thing I want to teach you guys is when you click here, you will see that this status bar is moving. And when I drag it out, you can see that the status bar is moving. That is not how it's supposed to be. So to solve that puzzle, we'll go back to our design. That is why I grouped this header and everything here to be the same. This stays on its own and this stays on its own. Then your auto layout framing should start from here. When you do that, make sure you set a background even when you cannot see it. The reason why I said that, I'm going to show you. So now we are going to go back to our prototyping and change this to, now we're going to take this, animate matching layers. So we're going to match this. Figma is automatically going to dictate that these two layers are the same. We're going to match them together. So that way it will not move again. It's only the body that moves because it's different name. That is where the naming convention is very important. So we see here we have the frame 7 stuff, and this one we also have frame 814. So we're going to focus on the last 3 digits. This is 514 and this is 515. So, and I feel this and also feel this. Very, very important. So when we click, we'll go back to prototype and set this to untap and click this animate matching layers, which I feel will mess a lot of people's work up. If the name of this container is the same thing with the name of this container, it's going to mess up your prototyping. So now if we go back and click here, notice that it's only the body that moves in. The status bar stays the same. Now if I'm dragging it out, the status bar will now move because we did not click animate matching layers on this move out. You can see it. So now let's go and click this animate matching layers here and also animate matching layers here. So these two are matching layers. That is what it means. The name of this card, you can see it here, iPhone X, and this one is the same thing. That is why Figma is treating it as one entity. So now I'm going to go back again, and when we try dragging this, you can see that the status bar is now fixed. This is the right way to prototype your designs. So when we click here, it comes in, and also when we click here, it goes out, and when we click here, it comes in. Now the next step is adding money to our account. So we're going to set the trigger of what happens here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to come to this place. I'm going to move this. I'm also going to explain the reason why I did these 3 designs. So because you can actually change the name, the card, you can customize your card. That is why I did it this way. So it's just one of those nice features that I feel like EQBank can also adopt. So the same thing here, you can change it to, and it can also change it to animated card. So I'm going to also show you how I did this animated card. let's play it and see what it looks like. So you can see what it looks like when it's animated. So this animation you're seeing here, I will show you how I did that in Figma. So let's continue what we're doing. We're going to go back to this, and while it's loading, we're going to focus on bringing this guy forward and this guy forward. So this is what you have when you want to move money between accounts. The way EQ Bank currently have it. Let me see if I have the screenshots somewhere here. I'm going to paste the screenshot on the video so you see what this design looks like and why we change it the way we change it. So there's a lot of things that actually doesn't work. So what it means is that once you click on this move money between accounts, it will give you one horrible kind of design. And I feel like these guys can actually do better. So the next thing we are going to do is to set this to this is our where we're going to type the amount, and we are also going to animate it. So what I did here was I want these kind of little movements that should happen, not like when we click here it should just come in. So what we are going to do is when we click here, this should come in and this should slide up a little bit. So to do that, I will make sure that this, I'm going to reveal this. That is what I did. So this is here and it's not on the same position. So what we are trying to do is to treat these two screens as one. If you want to copy this design, you feel free to copy it and share it on LinkedIn. Don't forget to tag me. My name on LinkedIn is Kingsley OG. My name on Instagram is Design with Kingsley. My name on TikTok is Design with Kingsley. My name on X is Design with Kingsley. Please don't forget to drop a follow. So the next thing I'm going to do now is, if you notice here, I also did the grouping, and just so we treat this as a separate entity. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to head to prototype, select this, and I'm going to remove it. So I'm going to start afresh, do this on top, and this goes to home, and we say move in. Now we're going to do some tricky stuff here. Then we'll click this animate matching layers. We set this to slow and we reduce this to 300. If you leave it at 600, it's going to be very slow. It's going to move in slow. So let me show you what you're going to have with 600, which is the default. So if you click here, it comes in, and if you click here, you can see that it's very slow. That is not how we want it, and no apps moves that slow. So we're going to set it to 300. Then we do the same thing here. If we click it to go back on top, now it's going to be move out. When it's going back, it should be move out because you're taking off a screen. And I'm going to set this to slow, and it should be 300. So the next thing we're going to do is to select this, and when we click here, it moves out. Now see what happened. I'm going to click here and this one comes in, and when you click here, it moves out from this place. That is wrong. So what we're going to do is to go back again and select this so you can see what is actually causing that trigger. We're going to tell it to move from the right. So when we click here, it comes in, and when we click here, it goes out from the right. So when we click here, this one comes in, but this is not what we want to do. So we're going to go ahead to hide this because we want this to move gradually. So we're going to come to design and set this to 0. For this to move, make sure that the name on this frame and the name on this frame is the same thing. Look at here. Here is container and here is container. Then the frame itself is also the same with the frame on this one. Their names should not change. If their name changes, you are not going to get the outcome you desire. And the same thing with this one. If this changes, you're not going to get if the name changes here, you're not going to get the outcome you want. And that is why most times when people copy my prototype, they miss some little things because of the naming of their layers. It's kind of tricky. So I believe that this explanation would help you solve that puzzle. So what we're going to do now is after delay to this one and say after delay, what it means that I want to treat these two screens as one. So after delay of just 50 milliseconds, it's just not even up to 1 second, anywhere close to 1 second, just 50 milliseconds, I want you to smart animate, and it should be slow. That is when we're going to leave this to 600. So I'm going to leave this to 600. So when we go to this place, we'll go to this, you can see what happened there. So if I click this and go out, so it can't go out because it's now on the screen. So we're going to still link this screen to this one. And we say on top, we're going to say move out, and we're going to say move out from here, slow 300. Then we'll come here and just say move out. Now look at what we just prototyped. If I click here, this comes in. So you can see that is what I wanted to do. So now we are going to reduce these to the time it takes this to move to the other screen should be 1 milliseconds, because we're using slow. If we're using ease in or ease out, we can set it to 50. So when you go back to this place and click this to go back, and you click here, you can see it moves in. That's the result we want to achieve. This is done. Now when we click here, what happens? That's when we now trigger this. So if you want this to come in the way a normal keyboard app should come in from iPhone, please do this. Make sure that the keyboard here, the keyboard that you have here, just copy, don't duplicate it. Copy, because if you duplicate it, the names will change, but if you copy it, the name will not change. Just copy it, come here and paste it, then you can now hide it. It's under this place because it's an auto layout. If I move this to this, so you can see it here. Oh, sorry guys, I'm just going to copy this. That's not what I copied. This is what I copied. So I'm just going to paste it here, and that's it. So what we're going to do is to move this out. Just drag, move it out on your keyboard. This keyboard, just what you're going to do is to hold this and move down. So once I hold this, it's moving down. If you want to move it up, you hold this arrow up on your keyboard. If you want to move left and right, you hold this left and right on your keyboard. So that being said, we are not going to do that here now because I already have the keyboard inside this place. So I'm not going to have more than one, just one. So what it means is that if we click this, it should get to this page, and our transfer still remains disabled because there is no figure that has been imputed yet. So I'm going to show you how to design this indicator. So to design this indicator that we added here, what you need to do is just to draw a line here. Just don't make sure that it's not more than 2, and we set this to be black, and that's it. So what we're going to do is to make it a component and add the second one. So this second one, we're going to change it to white. So this one, I'm just going to make it a little bit curved because if you look at here, it's just very sharp. So here we're going to change this to be curved. So here we just set it to 5 and we clip content. So now you can see that it's curved. What I'm going to do now is to select this, come here and link this to this one, and we'll say after delay of 500, that's the delay amount. Okay, what I'm trying to do is stay up to this amount of time, then do this. That is what I want to do. So let it be instant, and that's it. So select this one also and get it to this one and say after delay the same 500 and leave it at instant. That is how I created this indicator. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this. So if you preview this, so if we click here as if we want to enter money, type our money, we'll set this to smart animation, then we'll set this to slow. I love using slow and reducing the speed to 300 so it feels so real. So when we come here and click here, you'll see what happens. So that is our indicator blinking, and you can notice that this transfer and everything here moved up with it. So if we go ahead and still click here, it should be able to take us to, or we just click anywhere that is not on the app, click it here, it should also animate and goes to this one. So what it means, when you're trying to type on iPhone, and it's blinking, then you click outside, the keyboard goes out and it returns back to the previous state that it was. So that is what we are trying to do here. So when you click here, when you click on this, it comes up again, and when you click anywhere outside, it goes out. Then this also pushes the button up. You must also do that. So while you are moving this, make sure that this button is also moving, because this button is standing on its own here. So the next thing we are going to do now is just the easy part, where we'll now type in the numbers. So what I'm going to do now is select this 100 as if we want to type 100 and set it here. We'll leave it at instant, select 00 because this is 0. We're going to link it here, and this is another 0. We'll set it here, and it's still blinking. And when we click transfer, it should give us the screen. And it shouldn't be instant, it should also be smart animation, so that this one will move out, and we'll set this to slow, and this becomes 300. So this is what I mean. So when you click one, so we're going to also design the delete option. So when you click on delete, it gets to this screen, not slow, it should also be instant. So instant, very important. So when I click on this, it should also give me the screen, which is delete. If I click on this, it should give me the screen. So now if we go and start typing 1, so you notice that we've typed 1 and it's showing us transfer $1. Then 0 is showing us to transfer $10. Then 0 is showing us to transfer $100. So I made this thing real time, in the sense that it's removing money from here to this card. And you can also change the accounts that you want. That is the essence of why I designed it this way. So when you click here, it actually deletes it. And you click this, it returns back to the default. So type again 100. And when you click this, it returns. Everything in this page returns, and 0. So if you play this thing and share it online, you will definitely get the engagement you want. Then when we hit transfer, you can see what happens. This is now loading, and we're going to set the action that will happen next. I'm also going to show you guys how I created this sending that is moving like this, and this loader. So to do that, we're going to go back here. The way I created that loader is Eclipse, drop it here, and we're going to then drag this like this, then move this here. We're going to duplicate it again and have the second one like this. Go back to design, change the color on this one, maybe it's black, to anything you want to change it to. Then make sure that it's curved. Then this one will be the loader. And the next thing I'm going to do is to select everything and frame it. So we're going to create a component and add, it must be 4. So the next thing I'm going to do is to select this one. Don't select only this card, just select this one and change to 90. No, it means that it will go from this way, but we want it to go from this way. So I'm going to return it back and say -90. That's it. Then select this one and say 80. Then this one will now become 90. So what we're going to do is to select this one, go to prototype, link it to this one. Then we would say after delay 1 milliseconds, because we want it to always keep rotating. Smart Animate, we are not going to use slow this time around. We just use linear so that it's moving without any breakage. If you use anything rather than linear, you are going to get that breaks when it's rotating. Then do the same thing here, move it to this one, and we'll say after delay, Smart Animate linear set to 1 milliseconds. Select the same card here and set this to after delay, and we change this to 1, and this still remains what it is. Select this and get it to this part, and after delay 1 milliseconds, and everything here remains the same. So if we come back here and you just hold your option button and bring it out, or your alternate button if you're using Windows and bring it out, you can actually scale it down to now fit into where you want to add it to. That is how we created that stuff. So if we go back again here, you can see I'm going to refresh this, and you will see that it will keep rotating. So you can see that it's actually rotating the way we've actually designed it. So that's the how to create this kind of loader. So I'm going to select this and delete it. The next part is the sending. I'm also going to delete this, and what we're going to do is to write sending and add 4 dots. I'm just going to add 3 dots. If you want 4 dots, you can add 4 dots. Then make this a component, and also create a variant and add the third one. So because it's 3 dots, we're going to make 3, but if it's 4 dots, we're going to make 4 dots. So let's just do 4 dots because that is what we have. So I'm just going to go ahead and add an extra dots here. So this remains 3, this one will now be 2, and this one will now be 1. Then if we want to add another one, we can just change things up. So this becomes 0. This becomes 0. This becomes 1, and this becomes 2, and this becomes 3. Then this becomes 5, the fourth one. So come here and go to prototype, then select this and say after delay. Now it's not going to be 1 second, it's going to be maybe 400. Then don't use smart animate, use instant and hit, and that's it. Do the same thing here. After delay 400, after delay 400, then after delay 400. Then we take this one back and say after delay 400. So that's how I actually created this sending. So let's say we have this sending here and we go back to this place. You can see that it's not working now, but if I go ahead and refresh it, it's actually going to work. So you can see it here. So that is how I created the sending stuff. So I'm going to go back again and delete it. So the next thing we're going to call for is this screen, which is our last screen, our final screen. So once we set this, we're going to select this and see what happens when this loads, because this is not going to load forever. So after delay, select the entire frame and say after delay of 3000 milliseconds. 3000 milliseconds means 3 seconds. What I want you to do is to go and open overlay. Open overlay, and the overlay should come from the bottom and it should stay on the center, and you should close when clicking outside. It should have a background of 25 and it should move in, not instant, and it should move in from the top. And the next thing is this, we are going to use gentle this time around, so you can see how gentle works. So we're going to use gentle now, and I think that's pretty much about it. And when we click done, it should take us to home, to the home page, to see the amount that we added. So I'm going to just create another home page so that the amount we reflect. So we've transferred $100. We are going to change this to now $199 because that is what we transferred to this card, assuming. So once you click done, it should now change, go to this card, and on top we're going to say close overlay. No, not close overlay. We're going to say navigate to home, then move out from the bottom. That's it. Move out from the bottom, and it should be gentle and 800. So that's what we want to do. So the next thing we're going to do now is just to go ahead and see what happens. So I'm going to go back and start afresh. So this is the start. We click here and click this, and this one comes in, and we tap here. This one comes in 0, 1, 0, 0, and I don't want to send 100. I want to send $10. Okay, maybe $1. Or I don't want to send anything again. So I click here, or I just go back again. I say, okay, I changed my mind. I want to continue with my transaction, and click 0, 0. Then hit transfer. So after transfer, see what is going to happen. It comes in. So you can see how the thing just came in, and this stuff was gotten from Lutiflies. So you can just head to this plugin, and you will see all of those stuffs. Look at it here. You can run it and Lutify, and you can see all animations that you can pick once you pick it. I think the smaller version doesn't require you to pay, but if you want it as a bigger file, you need to pay. So we're going to go back again, and now when we hit the done, it goes back and comes to the screen, which is our $199. So that is how to actually prototype a banking app transaction in Figma. So I hope if you're working on any fintech app, you can actually demo this to a client, and so that the client will actually understand that you are a pro and you know what you're doing. Your job is safe in his hand. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye for now.